Hey, good afternoon, automotive aftermarket peeps. Carm Capriato, Town Hall Academy Week 298. Can you believe we're going to talk about technician tools and Jocko Willink? Andy, how the heck did we do that?
Well, we pivoted when we had to, right?
Yeah. I'm always wanting to be honest with our audience. We had a couple of more people willing to join us, and there were just scheduling conflicts at the last minute. And when you get into personal things that happen, and people say, "Hey, we can't make it." I'm always grateful that they wanted to do this, but at the last minute they couldn't. So I called Andy, and I says, "Hey, buddy, either we're going to do this solo, me and you, Town Hall Academy, where we usually have four of us up on the screen." And he says, "Carm, something amazing has gone on. I told you the story of me going down to Jocko Willnick's Atlanta base to do the extreme ownership thing. It's called Echelon Front. I sent a couple of my guys. So let's talk about tools and Jocko."
Yeah, just split it up.
And I said, super cool.
Yeah.
So we're coming to you from the Remarkable Results Radio podcast, the Delphi Technologies Shopware studio here, having always so much fun on a weekly basis doing this. And if you're with us on social media, please check in, say hi. We can see the comments here in the studio. In fact, I'm going to turn on my comment button so I can see what's going on as you all decide to at least give us a high five. To our great sponsors, I want to give a salute to them. How much time does your staff waste scrolling through monster uncategorized lists when building an estimate? Well, forget about it. Shopware serves up front and center all previously written services by year, make, model, and engine sizes. Talk to my friends on the web at getshopware.com. Tell them Carm sent you. Are you up to date on your training? Well, Delphi Technologies is proud to offer over 30 courses run by ASE certified technicians for professionals. Turn to the OE aftermarket supplier with over 100 years of experience. Inquire today at delphiaftermarket.com. Hey, if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and thanks. So, Andy, I'm bringing my curiosity here to the show about technician tools, and then we're going to talk about leadership here on the second half. And I ask a lot when I'm actually in shops, and I see this $100,000 technician toolbox on wheels. It looks like 3 refrigerators. And I said, "Are you buying any of the stuff in there?" And some of the guys that are in a legacy company, they just say, "No, it's their dime." I says, "Obviously you must be paying right for them to continue to invest." And they say, "Yes, we are." And, but are wages today supporting the tools that the techs need? Any idea what they would be spending with that tool truck, kind of mortgage payments? And I think our industry is in an about time that we do this investment for our people. I mean, the shop owns sometimes multiple scan tools so that we can do multiple jobs. And they say, "Listen, we'll buy the scopes, guys, and we'll have them. They're in the back room. They're locked up. They're categorized on the shelf. This is our stuff, and we know you need it." What do you do? Oh, by the way, Andy Bishop, Midwest Performance Cars, Chicago and Northbrook, Illinois. And glad to have you here, my friend.
Thanks, Carm. Yeah. So, I mean, first off, everybody has to find what works for their shop and their organization, right? And so just imparting what we do and the logic behind why we do it. We have had every extreme. I've had apprentice guys come in with like literally the $69 toolkit from Sears. And I've had a guy roll a 100,000 plus Snap-on box into our shop. He's still with us. He's actually Jimmy, our guy who had the motorcycle accident, and is with us and turning wrenches again and producing. And it's just, I mean, I'm so proud of that, of his whole story.
Wow.
But he came in with a $100,000 box, right? So we've had everything in between. We've had all different levels of technicians, from a senior tech to an apprentice, and So what we do is someone comes in, we have to make sure that they have a basic level of tools. But usually if they're coming in, it's different. If they're coming in as an apprentice, they're going to work under one of our current technicians for a while based on what their experience is and how quickly they progress. But they have to have a basic set of tools. So what we will do is we will buy the tools that they immediately need. And we will, subject to all your local labor laws, you got to make sure that this is good with your labor laws, with minimum wage. But we're so far above minimum wage it doesn't impact us. But we will have those guys pay off their tools through payroll deductions, and we'll just deduct. So maybe we deduct an hour or two a week. We might do that for a year, for 52 weeks.
Wait a minute, Andy. Are you saying the tools that you're going to buy for them, or the tools that they currently owe on?
No. So if they come in with their tools that they currently owe on, that's up to them. But most of my guys, I've never had a guy come in actually owing money on tools.
Okay.
Because they either come in with not much or of anything, or they've come in with full boxes.
Okay, but the guy with the full boxes, you hire a legacy guy. He's been doing this for 20 years. He hauls his boxing. I guarantee you, he's got a tool. He's got a tool payment.
I mean, my senior guy downtown is he's now 34. He has been doing it for 14 years. He's fully paid up on all this stuff and has been for years. Oh, for years. And he's got a great box of tools. But you know what? It's really reflective of the kind of person that he is.
All right.
He doesn't, I mean, and that's the other thing. You want guys who don't get out over their skis with just going into the Snap-on on truck and just going crazy.
Yeah, I want that. I want that. I want that. Add it to my ticket. And
that also comes back to, you've got the apprentice level guy. I mean, I compare it to a budding race car driver. You're not going to put that guy into a NASCAR or into an F1 car. He's got to start off in the karts and work his way up. He's got to start off with a lower horsepower vehicle so he doesn't hurt himself, right? The apprentice guy coming in does not need a full Snap-on box of tools. And usually our apprentice guys are working with a full-time technician who they're using this guy's tools side by side with the guy. And then as they get into being able to produce more and more work and actually earn more and more money, then we'll front the money for them to buy the tools that they need.
Okay.
And then have them pay it back. And I gotta tell you, and so I do know that there are shops out there, very successful shops, I have a lot of respect for, who equip the guys from day one with a full set. And it's the shop owned tools. I understand, there's certain areas where that may be what you want to do or need to do. To me, I want to have my technicians, actually, I want to have all my people, I want to have them invested with skin in the game, in not only in the shop and where they work, but in their careers.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see that for us, if we're just going to go, you know what, here's a $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 set of tools. Shop owns it. It's all yours to use.
Okay, so let's just kind of break down what you do. The technician goes into the tool truck and he talks to the tool expert and says, look, I've run across a job like that. I hear there's a tool out that's going to really make me more efficient, can help me get the job done. So thank you guys for building this. How much?
Sure.
And the guy says $89, and he either buys it, pays for it, puts it on his ticket. But before he does that, Andy, is he checking with you? Is there any kind of framework that he needs to live by?
He doesn't need to. But everybody knows that if they need to make a major purchase. Now, I don't think buying a $50 tool or $30 tool is something that that should not be making or breaking their decision. Our guys make well enough money that is not going to be a make or break decision for them. I'm talking about if they want to buy, they want to buy $1,000 set of sockets or something like that. The other thing is, if it's a tool that we are going to use we're a European shop, right? So we're almost all German. So if there's a tool that we're going to use for a particular process, and we know, a cam timing tool for a Porsche, an IMS tool to install IMS bearing, we'll buy it as a shop. We're not going to have the technician buy it. We're going
Right.
to buy that as a shop because we know we're going to continue to use that tool over and over. So
Got
I
it.
have no problem with buying those kind of things as a shop. Those are capital investments that are going to return a lot of money.
Andy, any tax ramifications that you know of on this?
Well, our CPA Hunt does our books,
Okay.
and I've run this all by Hunt, and this is all flying correct. So I would absolutely, just like everything else, consult with your CPA
Got it.
before you set up your program. But we've been doing this for years, and this really works out to the benefit of everybody.
So step me through it one more time. He wants to buy this, let's call it a $500
Sure.
tool.
Yep.
And he does.
Yeah.
And he says to you, okay, Andy, I just bought this. Make me whole. How does it work?
So the shop will pay for it, right?
Okay. The shop pays the tool guy.
Right.
All right. Just does it.
Right.
Then he earns it back.
Right. If let's just say for round numbers, this is a $50 an hour guy,
All
right? We'll take an hour off a week for 10 weeks.
Okay.
There's $500.
And they're earning flat rate right now?
We're a hybrid, right? So
Okay.
we pay everybody a fixed amount for every hour for their whole 40-hour week. And then for every production hour, they get a production bonus, which is usually 2 to 3 times what the hourly, everybody gets the same hourly rate.
Okay.
Just to give them that comfort of, I'm here for 40 hours. If there's not a single car in the shop, I'm going to get a check at the end of the week.
You're walking away with something.
Yeah.
And so here's a $50 an hour, $500. So 10 weeks, you're deducting 1 hour from their pay.
Right.
And they probably won't even miss it. And then they're building their equity as a technician by having the proper tools to do the job.
And they're not, yeah. And they're in that $50 coming out of their pay, they're not paying income tax on it either.
See, that's the issue right there.
Right. I mean, if the guy's buying a $500 set of tools and he's in the 30% tax bracket, he's paying $650 for those tools because he's going to pay $150 taxes on what really, really legitimately should be a business expense. I mean, let's face it, these guys get screwed when it comes to taxes because they buy these very expensive tools with which they earn their living and they can't write them off.
Yeah. Sometimes we use the words golden handcuffs to describe, for example, I think Seth Thorson buys the entire toolbox. They all look the same, really gorgeous shop. And if you want to up and leave, you're not taking your tools. I mean, you may have a tool set at home, but it is probably not as current as it should be. But in your case, I still like it because if the person wanted to leave for whatever reason they would want to leave, they've got to find a shop willing to invest in them like you are with tools. Yeah,
and I'll say another thing. I've dealt all my life. I've dealt with guys in the trades. I rehabbed houses back in the 80s and 90s. So I've dealt with all the different trades guys. And one thing that I think is pretty common among trades guys is at least the people that I deal with, they take pride in their tools.
Yeah.
Right. Carpenters love the hammer that they have. I mean, just that in our crews, they do take pride in their toolboxes.
Yeah.
And they like having them customized. And I love seeing when they get something new and they're really proud of it and they put their stickers on it and they keep them up and they do take a lot of pride in them. And I take pride in the fact that they're able to have what they feel they need to do the job properly.
You bring up such a great point. A carpenter. And again, I'm not a carpenter, but I could imagine that I have a favorite Phillips screwdriver, Andy. I have to tell you, if I lost that thing, I wouldn't know how to screw a cabinet. I just wouldn't. It's long. It's got this perfect head, great size. It just about fits any Phillips screw. And I've got my my couple of different DeWalt drills, that serve different purposes. And I can imagine, to your point, that someone falls in love with the tool. It's almost like an extension of them.
For sure.
That they need and they want, they have to have that.
I grew up doing carpentry with my dad, and I still swing my dad's hammer. and he has passed years ago, but he's with me when I'm out working with that hammer all the time.
Oh, how cool is that?
It's just personal stuff. Yeah.
Well, look, we aren't going to settle the debate
Right.
of buying tools for the world, but thank you for sharing how you do it. And I think there's a lot to learn from, just sitting down again with your accountant, with your leadership team, and say, should we do something different, knowing that tools are going to get more specialized and more expensive as we head down the road.
Yeah. Yeah. And back to your point, you got to be paying your guys properly, that they're able to afford the tooling for their profession. It's a profession. It's not, it is a profession.
Yeah, it is. And we've got to get up. Listen, we know that the top 20% of which you are a member of in our industry is doing well, making money, and working their butt off each and every day to grow and keep a great business with a strong culture and great profitability. And every time I turn on that record button and I get behind this microphone, I always think of, are we going to drag one more person over the line that's struggling by listening to this and saying, I want to grow up and be like Andy. He's got a lot of good things going on. And so if you're listening to this and you're not sure what to do, there's only 1,100 episodes out at remarkableresults.biz
Right.
on just about every topic you'd ever possibly want to know about, and hopefully they will inspire you. Hey, let's come back from this next really quick break, and let's dive into some leadership stuff, Andy.
Sounds good.
Hey, okay, you quoted a job last month, and the customer just said yes, but the price for parts went up a notch. When you use Shopware's native parts catalog, you simply update pricing with one click. Talk to my friends on the web at getshopware.com. And did you clean the fuel tank the last time you replaced a fuel pump? Contamination buildup in the tank not only impacts the vehicle's performance, but it can also damage the fuel pump. Clean the fuel tank in 5 minutes with Delphi Technologies fuel tank cleaning tool. Learn more at delphiaftermarket.com. Okay, look, those headphones you're wearing are so militaristic. I love them.
Yeah.
What a great introduction into talking about Echelon Front from Gino Wickman. And here's the book, everyone. It's on my books page on the website if you need to quickly go to it. And if you haven't read it, you got to read this, right, Andy?
Yeah, it's a great book.
So Jocko Willink and Leif Babin, U.S. Navy SEALs, they wrote this great book on extreme leadership. And here's the summary of the book. And Andy, we want to talk about you and your team going to his seminars. Mm-hmm. In essence, the book's about leaders must own everything, take the blame, and it's not what you preach, it's what you tolerate. That's in the book. Negativity, a negative attitude affects the entire team. And ego, we talk a lot about ego on the show, most difficult, yet it's good and destructive for you. But you got to put it on the shelf and take complete ownership and not say, woe is me, I'm a great technician, and obviously my business needs to run on autopilot. Who needs to learn anything else?
Right.
So you went to Echelon Front a few months back.
Right. So the story behind this was Echelon Front is a company that was started by Jocko Willink for leadership training, leadership coaching. It's almost all retired Navy SEALs, just an incredibly impressive group of people. And they have an online academy. And I started looking into this online academy for all of our people because, it gets a little bit tough to send your people out of town. And it's also tough to find, we've had years of auto repair coaching. I've had it myself. I've sent my people to training, very beneficial for where we were to where we've come. But I was looking for something more that was outside of just specifically the auto repair industry and more on the whole professional development level for both myself, but really for my crews at both of our shops. And when I say crews, I'm talking about the front office people, not the technicians. We look for, the best technical training for the guys on the floor.
Right.
So I found this online academy, and it's from Echelon Front. And I was speaking to one of the people on the phone about what it is and what they offer. And when I asked about the cost of it, it's like $420 per person per year. And I said to the woman, I said, I got to tell you, at $420 a year, I have to question the value of it because it seems too cheap. And
Yep.
she said to me, we get that response a lot. The reason why it's that cheap is because Jocko wants to keep it affordable, particularly for first responders, for police, fire, EMTs, so that they can have access to this without breaking the bank.
Wow.
And that blew me away. So before signing up for it, I said they Echelon Front puts on 3 of these things called musters. They're leadership conferences. They put on 3 a year in a different city around the country. And so I said, you know what? Before we sign up, I want to go. I also want to take my second in command with me as a check on me and to see what he feels about it, to get his opinion. So we went to the muster in Denver this June. And it was a two-day event. Started out every day at 4:30 in the morning with an hour of physical training, which was optional. You don't have to do it. There were 750 people at the conference. And the first day, I would say there's probably about 500 people went to the workout. The second day, there was about 600 people went to the workout. This is type AAA, really motivated people from all different walks of life. Met several police, fire, and EMTs who paid for this conference out of their own pocket. It's not cheap. It's about $2,900 per person for the 2 days. It is, in return, it's some of the cheapest training I've ever had because it is absolutely phenomenal. My second in command, when we got back on Tuesday the next week, Chris texted me and he said, I've already put like 3 things from the training last week into practice. Came back completely enthused. And so as a result, I said, okay, we're sending everybody in teams of 2. So I have 2 people in Atlanta right now doing a muster in Atlanta, muster number 15. I have 2 people who are going to go to 16 next year. And then I'm going to go to 17 when it's in Dallas, back in Dallas in October of next year again, because it was that good. It's just really next level elite leadership training. And one of the key things, I mean, there's so many key points, but one of the really great things was there's an opportunity for leadership for every single person in your organization, from your top technician, from your top sales, writer on the phone, from your manager, your regional manager, your district manager, down to the porter who is moving the cars around. There's an opportunity for that person to lead in some aspect of your business. And it only makes your business stronger when they can embrace that leadership role and take it on. It's the experience and the insight that you get from this conference is it's just on a completely different level. And I got to tell you, just as a little aside, one of the people I met, one of the guys who is one of the the leadership coaches, he is the senior Top Gun trainer. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Dave Burke. I mean, this guy's amazing. So it's just really, really great collection of people.
So many people, Andy, believe that you have to be a born leader. And I know you don't believe that.
No. And they're very clear that leadership can be taught and it can be trained. It's something that has to be embraced. But like you said, and I think a big thing is taking the ego and putting the ego up on the shelf, start really listening to people. The way that they talk about everybody has not everybody has been in this position, but everybody has the potential to have a strong boss, a weak boss, a boss that is an angry boss, a soft boss, all the different ways that you can deal with these different people that you have to deal with in your life and in your career to be successful for yourself. And it's surprising when you see how to deal with these situations that you would think, I just can't deal with the person. I can't get out of them what I need to get out of them.
There's so many leadership books out there, and it's important that you read some. It's important that you get articles. It's important you save articles. It's important you highlight, you write. But a couple of leadership traits, self-confidence, overcoming fear. There's no doubt the things you're telling me, this kind of training can help you with that.
Yes. And Extreme Leadership is a great book, but it can't compare to sitting in that room with those people and getting the firsthand presentations from them. So Jocko and Leif do about 50% of all the presentations.
Wow.
And it's it is, they say, we're going to start at 8 a.m. They start at 8 a.m. on the dot. Okay. It is very structured. There is no going over time. There's a 1 hour lunch from 12 to 1. And it's the healthiest lunch you've ever seen served at a conference. Okay. There's no donut. It's not donuts and stuff.
Wait a minute. Right? No Krispy Kremes?
There's no Krispy Kremes. No, they have like protein donuts in the morning. I mean, it's for really getting up and going.
By the way,
to hear those presentations firsthand from those people, and you hear it from Jocko and Leif, and they get up and they're relating their experience, they're relating a scenario, and then you're like, oh, that was really good. And then the second guy gets up, Carlos Mendez, he gets up, and you're like, well, this probably not be as good. He blows that off the table. And then Dave Burke comes up and he blows that off the table. I mean, each successive presentation in its own right is hitting another aspect of leadership, of the ways to structure your life, ways to be more effective. And I came away with it with a fair amount of notes, but just a really good insight into better ways for me to be a leader, and then to instill leadership into my teams.
I'm hearing this level of motivation that you seem to have, and you came back with. Obviously, your people are going to come back too, and that motivation not only will help them be inspired about the opportunity that they know they have in the company to be a great leader.
Yeah.
But the rest of your people are gonna see that.
Yeah. And it really is inspiring, and it enthuses them. It gets them excited. And the fact is, you know what? I want my people to really get professional development and get better and better. And if that means they get so good that they need to leave me and go find something that's even more challenging, then that's my fault for not presenting challenges to them to keep them motivated and keep them enthused and keep them really engaged in our business. And that's what it really comes down to. I mean, when and everybody who's read Extreme Ownership, they get, when Jocko says that mission failing, that was my fault.
Yeah. By the way, what I loved about the book is all the examples of real battle.
Yeah.
That he covered in this book, and it just kept me so engaged.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you just said developing skills, and when I think about that, you're giving your team this opportunity to be better leaders, to learn how to motivate, learn new skills. I think I just said that. Your challenge at your end of the world is, how do I keep this great team I'm investing in and amassing? And so it doesn't mean that you have to keep buying stores, but maybe it means you have to keep buying stores.
Could be.
Because you want an avenue for people to, let's go out and open this thing up. Or who knows, you may have your ADAS center, your EV center. who knows where this industry is morphing into, Andy? You're on you're on the cutting edge of think. I
Right.
know.
So my teams are now looking at the future with excitement and enthusiasm. And hey, look at all the things, look at all the possibilities, look at all the things we could get into, look at all the
Yeah.
potential revenue streams we could do, not being afraid of, oh man, EVs are going to take away our business. We are really enthused about working on Tesla, because there's a lot of Teslas in and around the Chicago area,
Oh yeah.
and Tesla cannot service their own cars. So I look at that as a huge opportunity, and it's taken some coaching and some talk with the teams to kind of lay out, hey, there's an opportunity here. This is not a threat. It's an opportunity.
There's a lot of great EV trainers out there.
Yeah.
And while I was at ASTE a couple of weeks ago, I sat in for about an hour on Carolyn Cocolette's class, and she's
teaching. Fantastic.
Carolyn wasn't teaching Tesla technology and repair. She was just talking about the strategies and the opportunities that exist with EV hybrids and all EVs. And so she had her number one Tesla guy from San Fran in the class with her. And he got up in between both of them saying, well, here's an inherent problem with this front end bolt, and going through all of the opportunities that can be fixed and repaired at your shop.
Yeah, for sure.
And all I got to do is tell people you do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I found it I mean, I walked away. Carolyn is just the right person to gain confidence to shop owners that the opportunity is now. And it's going to be even bigger each and every day as we move forward. So this whole reinvention of the industry, I want to bring a panel together soon, Andy, and I want to talk about what will the shop of the future look like.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've had 3 Porsche Taycans in our shops in the last 2 months. Those cars are all under warranty, but they're coming in. They're coming in for aftermarket stuff. We had put a lowering module into one of them. I mean, this is a $200,000 electric performance vehicle, and there's an aftermarket lowering module for that car, the quality one that we installed on this car. So there's going to be plenty of stuff to do and not enough people to do it. So that does not concern me anymore. The whole EV thing.
Cool. Let's stop for one more minute. We'll come back. We'll do segment C. Hey, each shop has its own customer records. So when multi-shop owners use Shopware, they're always in the system. Blow customers away by pulling up their records in a flash, no matter what shop they go to, on the web at getshopware.com. And when you turn to Delphi Technologies for your chassis needs, quality is always at the forefront. Material and dimensional enhancements, as well as 700 hours worth of salt spray testing, goes into each and every chassis part produced. Visit DelphiAftermarket.com to see over 8,000 chassis parts Delphi has for you. Hey, thanks for coming on and talking a little tools and a little Jocko here. At the event that you went to, give me a big takeaway that you came back and says, I'm a great leader, but this thing just rocked my world and I've got to do it.
Yeah, it really is getting all of your people into the mindset that they are able to, and we want them to lead in their own different, areas of expertise, areas of exposure within your business. About there is an opportunity for them to be a leader. There's an opportunity to be a leader on the shop floor, in the guy who's cleaning up the whole shop, right? He can be the guy who stands up and says, hey guys, I clean the same mess every night. You're doing it a little bit wrong. Here's the way, here's a different way that would be just as easy or easier on you. And then you'd come to an even cleaner work bay in the morning tomorrow.
Yeah.
Those opportunities are there for everyone. It's regardless of rank. It's regardless of title, what they do. There is something there for all the people in your teams. Carm, I've been down here. I'm in Dallas right now. My shops
Yeah.
are in Chicago.
Yeah.
I've been in Dallas for 10 days. I'm going to be in Dallas for another 6 days. There's no way that I could be down here for that long. And then I'm going to be back in Chicago for 5 days, and then I'm going to go to SEMA, right, for a week. There's no way that I could have these businesses up and running the way that they do, as effectively as they run, without having leaders in those two shops.
Yeah.
It's key for me.
Well, we're going to be at Apex, Andy. I know I'm going to see you there. We're going to be right next. We're going to be in Repair Shop HQ across from Joe's Garage, right next to the Napa booth. Please stop by and say hi. I'd love to meet you, if all my listeners, and it's just great to meet so many of our listeners. By the way, I got to give a high five to our international audience. It never fails that Nathan Adcock hangs out with us, and he's from Scotland. And Nathan, I always can count on you. Thank you. It must be like the 8 or 9 o'clock hour out there. And as someone new that I'm seeing here from London, England, Nick Avior. I think, Nick, that's how you say it. So glad to have. I love having an international audience, and I do know that our podcast is listened to around the world. It is. So
hey, to Nick and Nathan, I have a really good friend, has a garage in Highgate. His name is Rob Grant, and he's actually Scottish. So he's on Instagram. His Instagram handle is the 964 page. So Rob Grant in Highgate, just look him up. Good guy.
There's a shout out. Thank you, Andy. Oh, by the way, did I mention your beautiful headphones?
Oh yeah. So there's a story behind these. So our youngest son is stationed with the U.S. Army up in Fairbanks, Alaska, at Fort Wainwright, and me being down in Dallas, most of my business stuff is up in Chicago because of the companies up there. So I was kind of hunting around the house for headphones, and so I had to go into his room, and I found these are his old Call of Duty headphones that he used to use before he got into the real military world. So
I was what a great story. We're talking about Jocko, the Navy SEALs, leadership, and Andy shows up with camouflaged headphones.
Yeah, I don't think the Navy SEALs would be too hot on the bright blue LED lights, but that's that fantasy gaming world as compared to the real world, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I can see the enemy saying, "Hey, the SEAls are out there. I can see their LEDs." Yeah.
Oh, and I got to give a shout out, since we're talking about Jocko. I got to give a shout out to. So, we have a young crews in both of our shops, and they all drink these Red Bulls and Monsters, and all these things are horrible for you. So Jocko has this energy drink. It's all natural. It's all super healthy. I drink this stuff like crazy all the time. And so I got rid of all of those other energy drinks, and I just ordered like 50 cases of this stuff for both of our shops. So we stock up our shops with this stuff all the time, and our guys love it.
A lot
of
sugar.
It's healthy.
No sugar? Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Can I buy it in the store?
Jocko Go. It's out by you, the Wawas.
Yeah.
They carry them. But there's a few retail vitamin shops, they carry them, but you can go online and order it from his company that they make this stuff. It's really good.
It gives you all the Andy energy you'd ever want.
Right. Yeah. It's good stuff.
All right, man. Andy Bizza, Midwest Performance Cars, Chicago, Northbrook, Illinois, and HQ'd in Dallas, Texas. Now there's someone to aspire to. Thanks for coming on and talking about technician tools and leadership, Andy.
Absolutely. Love to.
Always a pleasure.
Thanks, Carm.